DuckTalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts. It's the week of Monday, September 24th, and you are listening to episode 42 of DuckTalks. October 20th. October 20th. I think we started with a date last episode of DuckTalks. Maybe we shouldn't do that. But October 20th is a pretty big date. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't heard the date October 20th yet, you're going to hear it a lot because I'm going to say October 20th a lot.
What day was that again?
October the 20th.
Oh, okay.
Hey, welcome to Duck Talks. My name's Mitch.
Tired Steven here. Ahoy there.
Hey, Josh here, CC Runner 524.
And you're listening to Duck Talks. If this is your first time listening to us, we're going to talk about Ducktales. I hope that's what you were searching for when you came across us. If you're looking for the Duck Talks podcast that talks about duck hunting, that is not this podcast. Move along. But if you enjoy cartoons and comics about ducks, you probably would enjoy this comic. So hold up, this comic. You probably would enjoy this podcast. So hold on just a moment and listen, and hopefully we can pull you in. And if you are a recent listener or a long-time listener, thank you so much for listening to the podcast and coming back. Don't forget, you can always give us a review or a star or whatever grading system your podcatcher uses. We'd appreciate that. But we are here to talk about a lot of DuckTales news, and it's kind of exciting.
Well, what is this news? Keep hearing this date, but we don't. I don't know what this news is. Well, I know what it is, but
we finally have a date for the premiere of season 2 of DuckTales. Not only that, because we were expecting that. We knew that was coming soon. We've been talking about that information would be. We just knew. We could feel it. That information was coming. And we had also said that season 3 announcement may follow behind it, but I did not think it would be mere seconds. But yeah, October 20th, that is the premiere date for the first episode of season 2 of DuckTales.
I'm pretty sure we called that exact date as well in a previous episode of the show.
You know, I'd have to go back and see the date, but I know we were close. We talked about that date before. Is that the date you picked?
Yeah, because I mean, it was either October 13th or 20th. So October 20th is a Saturday, so we can see now that they're continuing on with Saturday morning episodes.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I know, right? We love the Friday ones as well, and that they did in May. But Saturday morning, DuckTales just seems really classic. The kids love waking up and like it's Christmas morning, and waking me up and dragging me downstairs to watch the show. And I have to break it to them. I've already seen it on Disney Now, and I've been up all night. But yeah, it's been like a tradition, and we can't wait to start that again.
Josh, how does Michelle feel when you wake her up and make her get out of bed to watch DuckTales on Saturday mornings?
she makes me wait, man. I wake her up. I'm like, it's DuckTales time, and she's like, well, let's wait till lunchtime. I'm like, that's so far away.
And can you believe that some people still do not know that the show exists?
It's crazy. This week we had we introduced the show to a lot of people on Twitter, and the amount of people who did not realize there was a new show was just astounding. I'm talking about your tweet.
Yeah, we gave them the DuckTales is probably the most viral tweet ever about DuckTales. Last week, I asked the question, "Are you older or younger than Launchpad?" And I didn't want to do a stupid poll. I know a couple of people were like, "Hey, you should do the poll." No, it's funny because they don't get the joke. It's funny because you retweet it if you're old, and people are freaking out. And if you just read through the threads, it gets even funnier that people were like, "Oh, I'm the Crypt Keeper." Like they're so old because Launchpad is, and it went on and on all week.
We're still getting them. We had a few today. It has slowed down, but there were a few.
It is very entertaining for us. That was a fun tweet.
Yeah, there was a ton of likes and retweets on that too, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the most liked and retweeted tweet that I've ever done. I think it was like 13,000 likes.
Yeah, it's at 13,000 likes
and like
2,500
retweets. So obviously, a lot of people are younger than Launchpad,
right?
Because I said like it if you're younger. But yeah, there a lot of older people too, and they did not like to be older than Launchpad.
So what's funny is there's 2,564 retweets, and then there were, I'm trying to find, where's the number for how many people commented, because I know I've seen that number.
I thought it was something like 180 at some point.
Yeah, so 180 of those people, because most of the people who commented that they were old. So I thought that was funny that many people would comment on it about their age. So, because we had talked about it beforehand, and we kind of waffled a little bit on which direction to go. So you were right; it was funnier to do it that way.
Yeah, because people are like, oh no, I'm older than Locke.
Actually, here we go. I found the number. It's 192 comments on it. It's crazy.
Hey, we're all old together. So if you're listening to this podcast for the first time because you saw that tweet, we're with you. We all retweeted it because we're in that age bracket. We are older than Launchpad.
I want to know how many people though liked it instead of retweeted because they didn't want to admit that they're old.
Well, then there was the bunch that was confused that they were the same age. They didn't know what to do.
And I was like, just do both.
We had to encourage them to do both. So.
Just do both.
Why not both?
But, we're going into season 2. We've got the news out there. Disney's been doing a fabulous job of reaching out. Their advertising on the first season was great, especially after the move. And I thought the stuff they were doing on Disney XD was good too, as far as getting the word out. I think it's just, we actually had a lot of people see that tweet who don't watch a lot of animation. But they grew up on DuckTales, so it was kind of surprising for them. And I thought that was cool. We never would have reached that many people with a poll, so I thought it was fun, and it was fun interaction for 3 or 4 days with new people. So where were you when you found out about season 2? I'm trying to buy time because my link isn't opening.
Well, Frank had said on Twitter that tomorrow was going to be big news day, the day before season 2 was announced. Not announced, but the date of it was announced.
Yeah, we knew the day before to be looking for something. Honestly, it came a lot earlier than I expected. And I was watching Frank and the Disney accounts to see where it was going to come from. I almost missed it because I was not watching Disney PR. The information was released from the Disney Channel PR Twitter account, and it was just Disney Channel hatches a 3rd season of the Emmy Award nominated series DuckTales prior to its season 2 premiere on Saturday, October 20th. And they use the Disney Channel and the Disney Now hashtags, so it'll be available both places Saturday mornings. We're pumped. They followed that up with, let's see, that was at 11:01, and at 11:05 they released a video announcing season 3. And I wasn't expecting that announcement to come so soon. I was still freaking out over the news of season 2 being in October, because we speculated that all along since February. We've been saying that there was a possibility it would be in October. And honestly, at one point, I started to give up on that because Frank told us it was not, that he thought that was old information. But, he doesn't have any control over that. I'm not going to hold that against him. He's told when the show airs. He doesn't decide that information.
And they sent the PR had an image of Scrooge McDuck and Webby and Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And Scrooge McDuck looks totally in adventure mode, even Indiana Jones-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And Louis looks all sad, and we found out there's going to be a Louis arc this season.
Maybe he's sad over the Della Duck thing still.
Well, I'm noticing he doesn't have his Kopesh. I think that's it.
Is what?
That's the sickle from Tothra.
Oh.
Could be. Maybe his phone battery died on his Waddle phone.
Yeah.
I thought he found it at the end of the episode.
He did. He just doesn't have it in this image.
Oh.
I'm gonna edit you killing my joke out.
I didn't get it. I'm a little slow.
But this is definitely going in the bloopers, so stay till the end.
And then we got treated. You can put that in the bloopers as well. I
always do.
A great video of the voice actors doing Huey doing Louie, and then Scrooge McDuck there, David Tennant, just trying to get a word in, but he can't because Huey doing Louie all talkative.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the video yet, go to YouTube and check it out. We'll include a link to it in the show notes. They're hysterical, and I think Frank has mentioned that before, that he has only had them in the recording booth together once, and it was a nightmare. And I guess this is footage from that, just to kind of prove the point. But when it switched to David Tennant, and because it just shows him standing there waiting, kind of tapping his fingers, waiting on his opportunity to speak. It's a great advertisement for the show, and how much fun it is, because the show is this much fun. The bit where Bobby Moynihan is reading Dewey's lines, and he tells him, "Those are my lines." He goes, "It says Dewey right there," and he says, "I'm Dewey," and Bobby goes, "No, I'm voicing Dewey. Wait a minute, have I been doing this wrong?"
Yeah, that was pretty good. So with the announcement of season 3 of DuckTales that we have, does that mean it's confirmed that we're getting a season 3 of DuckTalks?
Well, that's the rumor.
So that means we're employed for 2 more years, Josh.
That's right.
Employed?
Wait. Employed? We get money from this?
You guys get paid?
I think only Steve gets paid.
No. Not really.
We do have some stuff planned for season 2 for us. We've not looked so far as to season 3, but we talk about it sometimes. But we do have some changes coming for Duck Talks. We'll be excited to start revealing that towards the end of October. We've been, when we first started this, I just sat down with my computer and did some drawings and kind of wrote up a basic layout of the show that we've kind of worked from since day one. We've broken away from it a little bit and here and there, but for the most part, it's the same. I think we'll change some things up, and we'll definitely have a newer look come October. Now, that's some things we've already started working on.
Yeah, our 1-year anniversary is coming up, and who knows, you might even see a new logo or something. Some new merch. Duck merch.
Yeah, we've got a new look planned, some things we've been working on. This is exciting. I think we're going to go ahead and share this. We told him we would. But we've been talking with Brian Danger. We've recently come across Brian on Twitter. Actually, Brian came across us, I think. And he reached out and said that he had started listening to the show and was enjoying the show. And so we got to chatting with him. He started sharing some of his art. We started seeing, he'd always been sharing his art, but we started seeing it for the first time. And we are big fans of what he's currently doing. And so we kind of had a conversation with him about some things we would like to do with the podcast, and he got excited about it, started sharing some ideas that he had. So we've been working together to kind of rebrand Duck Talks.
Yeah, and Brian does commissions, so we can't wait to share some stuff that he's been working on for us next month, right around our anniversary show. And yeah, I definitely think that you guys will love it, and you should pick up a commission as well.
Oh, so there's some other news. We'll go ahead and drop this. It's a little early. It's not October yet. But since we're talking about the rebranding of the podcast, I think we should also talk about one of the things that's going to impact. Josh gets a promotion.
Promotion. Is there a raise in this promotion?
No. No longer.
Yes, you will get 4 times the amount you're getting right now.
Yes. What a deal. Josh has kind of served as our permanent guest host.
Yeah.
Since pretty early on. When Pirate Steven and I were first putting together the podcast, Josh has always been involved in a lot of the conversations that we had around DuckTales. And, we all had different things going on, and it just kind of naturally clicked. And as soon as we had a week where we needed someone to fill in, Josh was there. And I think you filled in one other episode, and then after that, we were like, why don't you just come on the show whenever you can? And so you've been pretty much on every other episode. And we've talked behind the scenes about, you're one of the hosts of the show. I'm joking right now about you getting a promotion, but we're officially putting you on artwork and stuff because I've been too lazy to do it before now.
Awesome. And we're excited about that.
And we thought it would be fun to do with the season 2 of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I enjoy having the conversations with you guys. With DuckTales and all the things that come up. It's just amazing that how every week we come up with something to talk about, and we enjoy having that conversation together. So I'm glad that it naturally clicked with all of us together on the podcast, and I'm excited for season 2.
And 3. One more.
We got renewed too.
What's that?
I said I felt like we got renewed too, so I'm excited.
We did get renewed. We need to thank the show that our podcast gets. We haven't done that. We need to thank DuckTales that our podcast gets to continue because they're going to keep making episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a Duck Blur gave us a good compliment. They said these guys even do the podcast during the hiatus, and it's true. Those are some of our best work when there's no show, anything to talk about.
They're definitely our longest, and they take me the longest to edit. No joke.
Kind of like how today's notes, we had nothing in it until
today. Speaking of which, there was news. So one of the things we do every other Monday is Beyond DuckTales, and we've kind of not promoted this in a while, but Beyond DuckTales is our Fantagraphics Don Rosa Library book club. And so we get together every other Monday with other fans of the Duck comics, and we talk about a volume of the Don Rosa Library that was put out by Fantagraphics. We just tonight completed volume 4, which is the beginning of the Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. And let me tell you, fabulous read. This is the first time I've ever read these stories, and just I can't say enough good things about the story that we just read. In 2 weeks, we will meet again to talk about Volume 5, which will Volume 5 concludes the official Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, I believe.
Yes.
And so that's in 2 weeks. But I'm saying that because I was getting ready to log into Discord, which is where we do that, and I realized that there was some DuckTales news that we had not covered this weekend. Apparently, on Friday, this past Friday, I don't know what date that is, but this past Friday, the Disney, the official release from Disney came out on their website about some information on Season 2. So I figured we probably ought to talk about that tonight. It's some pretty big news. And so I was working on a blog as we were getting started, and I kind of left it to Pirate to go ahead and get things going while I try to finish this blog, because if I don't do it right then, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how the time we record this show, which is usually 10 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays, it never fails. Like news will drop between 9 and 9:30 that night every week.
It's funny how that happens.
So I'm glad we don't record till 10.
All right, so here's what we have. We have season 2 titles and descriptions for the first 2 weeks. So this is what date? October 20th and October 27th. October 20th, the most dangerous game night. A game night is anything but relaxing as the family faces shrink rays, a barbaric civilization, and an unhealthy level of competitiveness. So that's going to be the first episode of season 2.
Sounds like a winner.
This does sound like the description of some of the images or video, I guess, that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con. You know, we have not seen video of that get out, which, you know, good Duck fans are not sharing that. I guess that's good because they asked for it not to be shared. But, so, you know, they have talked about it a little bit online, very little online. And one of the few descriptions that I heard was that the first episode would include a board game. So this looks cool. Looking forward to it. It kind of sounds like Jumanji.
I want to know who's got the unhealthy level of competitiveness, or maybe that's all of them.
I think it's going to be Webby.
Yeah.
I can see Huey being a stickler for the rules, though.
But he would also be competitive. Like, he wants to win, but by the book.
Yes.
And, of course, Dewey wants to win while being flashy. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Louie wants no part in this, which may explain that image they released. Maybe that's part of the game.
Yeah, because he's kind of Indiana Jonesy looking.
Yeah. Because you have, of course, a Junior Woodchuck guidebook. You have Dewey looking determined. Scrooge is ready for adventure. Louie, you know, there's no treasure here. It's a game. Could be the image. Hadn't thought of that till just now. So that's exciting. And again, that's October 20th. Have we heard a time? I don't think I've seen a time. On October 27th, The Depths of Cousin Feathery. That's not right. Feathery. The Depths of Cousin Feathery. I don't know if that's right either. However you say it, I guess we'll learn on October the 27th how to say his name. I think we've debated that a couple of times on this show. Or at least I've debated with myself how to say his last name.
It's Feathery, right?
Is it Feathery?
I don't know. I thought it was Feathery.
I mean, that's how I want to say it.
I'm sure anybody who listens to the show will tell you the right way.
Tell me. Send me a tweet. Comment on the blog. Email us. DuckTalksPod@gmail.com. Let us know. But here's the description. Huey and Dewey are led on an adventure by their distant Uncle Feathery, who takes them to the depths of Scrooge's deep-sea laboratory. And then they add an asterisk. Tom Kenny, a.k.a. SpongeBob SquarePants, guest stars as Uncle Feathery. So I don't watch SpongeBob. Is this exciting to you guys?
It's exciting because he's well known. He does a lot of conventions and stuff. So yeah, I think people are going to be hyped about this.
I was surprised that they're bringing in Feathery so quickly. Like I thought it would be a character that would be maybe more mid-season, but it's going to be right at the beginning. And I'm kind of interested because I don't think they've ever had an animation of Feathery, have they?
I believe this is the first time.
First time. I know he's got a big following in overseas, and so hopefully that will make awareness for the show as well.
I think he's very popular in Italy. At least the Uncle Scrooge comics by IDW that I've read, the stories that I've seen him in were Italian comic.
Yeah, him and Don Rosa are like big in Italy.
I am also surprised that he's going to be in the second episode of the season on October 27th. So yeah, SpongeBob SquarePants voice actor will be on DuckTales. I think that's a good call from them. I think that's going to get some recognition. Um, but or let me back up. I think it's a good call. I think kids are going to enjoy it, but I don't think kids care that the voice of SpongeBob's voicing this character. So hopefully we enjoy it. So what are you all doing on October 20th?
Waiting until lunchtime to watch DuckTales.
There's probably some football on. It's Saturday. Let's see.
Not that early.
Yeah, well.
I didn't say what time. You're right.
Did you guys hear about Entertainment Weekly? They released some of the names of some of the actors and actresses who are going to be voicing in season 2 of DuckTalks. We see that there's going to be oh wow, I know why you gave me this, because I wouldn't have to pronounce all these names.
No, you don't have to name them all. They're listed in the article.
Okay.
We can just kind of talk about we've got it in our notes. We can just kind of talk about some of the people who are on here that we know, or maybe we've already heard about, or we know what they do. Like we found out last season, at the end of last season, that Paget Brewster would be voicing Della Duck. And we've talked about that a little bit already. That's exciting, and I know that the showrunners, the producers of the show, have already praised Paget's performance and said they can't wait. Actually, some of the directors as well have said they can't wait for everyone to be introduced to her Della. We just got a glimpse, so that's one.
I'm glad the first episode is not the Della episode. I'm glad it's going to be a little bit down the line, it seems.
Me too. You think they'll sprinkle in a little bit of, like, maybe we get another few seconds with the moon theme in the background again?
Yeah, and whatever the moon episode is, I hope it's full NES classic references. If that's all it is, I'd be happy.
Because I would imagine Della can't live on the moon for very long.
Well, they got that moon cheese.
Yeah.
Moon cheese.
She's got to fight that rat.
Yeah. Now, Pirate, earlier you were talking about Julie Bowen. You had a prediction.
Oh, I love Julie Bowen. She's obviously from Modern Family, and my prediction is that she will voice the new Glomgold Industries person that we saw from San Diego Comic-Con. So there's a new head of Glomgold Industries, and my guess is that might be her character, maybe.
Mm.
Oh, so the new Glomgold.
Oh, there's no new Glomgold. There's only one Glomgold. But yeah, she could be the head of the new. Of course, there were several female voice actors on that list, so I could be way off. But
she's at the top of the list though, under Paget. So I think it's likely. I mean, I would give Glomgold second billing to season 2, or the new Glomgold's replacement.
It's true.
I just keep tripping up over that.
I didn't put them in the order of the people I knew.
But they are not in the order of the article?
Oh, I just picked my favorites. And put them at the top.
So this list makes sense. So we're not gonna mention who's on the bottom of the list. We apologize.
I don't even know some of these actors.
Well, that's why they're on the bottom of his list. He didn't know who they were.
I'm just joking. This is in order of that I read them off the whatever Entertainment Weekly, whoever put it out there. But yeah, I know at the top, so I'm sure she has got to be be one of the main characters in season 2.
Now I know a lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
I said hopefully a recurring character.
Oh. I'm looking at some name. I'm looking on IMDb. So let me start over.
Yeah, so I know a lot
anymore.
Yeah, we don't. IMDb is no longer a source of DuckTalks.
Yeah.
However, I am looking at IMDb.com.
I'm trying to see who these actors are. That's why I was looking at them.
Well, I know that when the announcement came out, I saw a lot of people excited about Edgar Wright, and I am not familiar with Edgar Wright, but I do know the movies that he has directed, or at least I've heard of them, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Shaun of the Dead. I've never. Driver. Yes. So I know he's very popular, and not my kind of movies, but I know a lot of people are excited about his involvement, and he is listed on IMDb, if this is correct, as an actor. So, as a director, screenwriter, producer, and actor. So, he does some acting. Possibly, if IMDb is correct.
We do know that so the voice actors for Panchito and Jose are not the same ones that are doing maybe a show that's coming to the streaming service.
Possibly.
So it's different actors than that.
Do we have the actors' names for those?
Yeah, that was in Entertainment Weekly. That's not just the IMDb guessing game. It's
okay.
We know those people.
Because IMDb listed Arturo del Cuarto as Panchito.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you, this just sounds different than what I read on Entertainment Weekly. So who knows? We might have gotten burnt by IMDb again.
You never know. So that's the news for this week. There was a lot, all coming out at once. Between the news, that was released about the season 2 premiering on October 20th, and season 3 being announced, as well as the 2-episode titles and descriptions. Go to DuckTalks.com. We got a couple of blogs out there on this information, and you can join the conversation there. Or at Twitter, we're at DuckTalks. Let's take a look at some Duck merch before we end this episode, because we actually do need to wrap it up.
We got Duck merch. Woo-hoo.
Out this month, there's a couple of comics we wanted to point out, as well as DuckTales' latest issue being out. But there's a comic called Uncle Scrooge, My First Million, and I came across this actually looking at December's solicitation from IDW, and that's at issue 4. So this month, I'm sorry, that's issue 3. Hold on, let me back up. I came across looking at future solicitations for IDW's comics, came across this comic, and then went back and found that it does come out this month in October. Now, this is a collection of stories that are being released in the U.S. for the first time. From the description, from what I can tell, they have been released overseas before, but it's a 4-part series that's going to tell the stories of how Scrooge got his first, second, third, and $4th $1 million. And I'm not sure exactly, I'm not expecting these to line up with any Barks or Rosa stories, seeing as how those, comics, the stuff that was written in other countries, they don't try to keep a continuity. That's just Rosa trying to keep a continuity with Barks. But I think this is going to be a fun story. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to picking it up, and I'll definitely be doing some reviews. The artwork looks fun. It kind of looks like some of the Italian comics. We also have the news that Disney Afternoon Giant issue 1 will be out this month. I don't have that exact date, but issue 1 will be out this month. It is a 48-page issue, and it will be $5.99. We don't know how long this comic's going to run. There's been some speculation and discussion around it over the last few weeks. We know that the cover will be a James Silvani previously unreleased artwork. It is something he's done in the past. It's not something that he's done for this comic, but he did it back with Boom or Joe Books, and so it's open for them to use. We had wondered, because we've talked about it in the past, that we'd like to see a Disney Afternoon comic where we get maybe rotating creative teams, rotating stories, so we can get some Tailspin and DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and Goof Troop and all those great shows that we love, to get them in comic format, kind of like what we've seen in the past with Boom and Joe Books. That does not appear to be the case at this time. We've reported on it a couple of times that there were some indicators that these would be reprints of Boom Studios comics, and that has been confirmed now with the release of the description for Disney Afternoon Giant 2, which will come out in December. But that description says, our brand new series continues with 2 second chapters as we present part 2 of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers Worldwide Rescue, and Part 2 of DuckTales, Rightful Owners. So those were two stories that were published by Boom Studios. And they're 4-part stories, I believe. Both of them were. And this was during the time that the Darkwing Duck comic that is now collected as the Definitively Dangerous edition was also released. I think Darkwing came out maybe first, and then Rescue Rangers, and then DuckTales, because Rescue Rangers got like 8 issues in before Disney pulled the plug on it, and I think DuckTales only got into its second story, so I think it's like 6 issues in. I think it was canceled mid-story, so that second story was never finished. Or, you know what? It's a 2-part. It's a crossover with Darkwing, so maybe that full story was told between the 2 books. They did not publish the 2 Darkwing stories that are part of the DuckTales story in the Definitively Dangerous edition because the story never got approved by Disney before they published it, which is probably what led to the whole thing being canceled. Kind of surprising with all that controversy that this is getting re-released.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of said that those stories aren't canon because of Disney not accepting or not like approving those stories, and I'm kind of curious if this is going to make them canon, or if it's just a re-release because they own the rights.
I think with how IDW is doing things, with releasing all of the Italian and Danish and all these comics from all over the world of Duck Comics, I don't really think they're trying to build a continuity in this. And it could just simply be them. They could honestly just be trying to see what kind of response they would get to a Disney Afternoon comic. That's my hope anyway. I hope that if this does sell, because there's plenty of people, I'm sure, like me, who totally missed this. I did not see these comics. I came across them later. The covers are awesome. I've got a blog on DuckTalks.com where I've included some of the covers, and they're phenomenal. I'm looking forward to reading these. I really hope. I've heard the Rescue Rangers series was actually pretty good, and that the DuckTales comic was probably the most controversial because it was there were things in that story that were unlike the characters. They were out of character in some of the things they said or did. I don't know the details. But, people seem to have liked the Rescue Rangers story. So I'm hoping this sells. I'm hoping we see that controversial DuckTales Darkwing Duck crossover. I don't expect them to since it was never authorized. But maybe it wasn't a big deal and they're okay with authorizing it now. Or maybe IDW is about to mess up, which is unlikely. But both those comics are out this month. And the only other thing I have in the notes for Duck Merch is that Tailspin is getting 2 more pops this month. Now, there was a series of pops for Tailspin that were released a couple months back.
Yeah, I believe late June is when they started to appear in shops.
Now, the 2 that we are getting are they both exclusives?
So yeah, we're getting a blue flocked, which is the same version as the regular one. It just is more texture on this one, and it's gonna be a Target exclusive that is released in stores and online on October 5th. So that's kind of exciting. And then the other one is a New York Comic Con exclusive. We kind of dodged the bullet for exclusives for the conventions this year. I was really hoping for a Don Carnage one, but looks like we're getting a Shere Khan from Tailspin in his business suit with his hands together, which matches the Funko Mystery Mini that was released last year. But there's nothing else different about this one. So I'm going to try to get the blue one, but I'm still up in the air on whether or not I need to have a different Shere Khan just to have his hands together.
So do you already have the one with his, or is there, you said the blue one, is there a color difference somewhere?
Baloo?
Oh, Baloo. Sorry. My mistake.
He's a bear.
He's a bear. Gotcha. The Shere Khan, the two poses. One has his hands down at his side, and one has them, like you said, in front of him, meeting together.
And I prefer the one with his hands together.
I do too. I like the exclusive.
But I mean, I don't know if it's. And I do have the Louis Chase, which is just a different color Hawaiian shirt. So we'll have to see if I get this one. The Shere Khan is going to be GameStop exclusive, and the convention ones run about $15 a pop. So you have to really love or want this one to get it if you already have the other one.
You already have the other one?
I do.
Okay. I don't. That's what's got me thinking I might want this one. Because I definitely wouldn't want both. Like if I had one, I don't need the other.
Yeah.
And the other one's probably like $10.99 at anywhere I can find it.
Right. And this one would come out, I believe, October 4th is when New York Comic Con starts. So.
Oh man, same time as the Blue.
Yeah, so it should be out around that time in GameStop stores. Since this one doesn't seem to have gotten much great talk on the social media as far as popularity goes with the releases. So I figure we'll probably see this one in GameStops for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in all honesty, there's a few other characters that I would have rather seen than just a different pose on this one. Although I like this pose better. Yeah. So that might be the driving factor.
On the Kingdom Hearts front, we have Walmart is getting an exclusive Sora from Kingdom Hearts 3 in one of his different forms. So I think that's the one I have to track down, and Walmart's usually the hardest. So wish me luck.
That's a pop?
Yeah, that's going to be another Kingdom Hearts pop.
Well, that should cover it for Duck Merch, and I think that's going to cover it for this episode. You guys have any last words?
Thanks for listening. This is gonna be a fun one. How about this? How about last words? This is gonna be a fun one for Mitch to edit.
Jar Jar rules.
No. I mean, there's a whole bunch of good stuff to say.
Yes. Well, that is going to do it for this week's episode. Check us out at DuckTalks.com. You can always find us on Twitter at DuckTalks. And if you'd like to email us any questions or any, you want to talk about the show, anything like that, you can send that email to ducktalkspod@gmail.com. And that's going to do it. So until next time.
Stay gone, Golden.
Night, guys.